Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Morning Meta. I am yours truly, Travis Spencer.
I'm Camilla Crawley.
Camilla, I'm
Yes.
excited about today's community conversation.
Oh, I am too. So today we
Mhm.
have a special guest, Corina Urdanante, Urdaneta.
Yes.
I got it. That's me
Okay.
trying to make sure that I say it in Spanish.
Mhm.
Yes.
And so we're really excited to have you today,
Mhm.
Corina, and just share a little bit, Travis. I know of your connection with Corina.
Well, Karina and I are a part of, well, you're on the teaching team as well. We're all part of the BIPOC, which stands for Black and Indigenous People of Color, the Sangha. And the Sangha is where we come together and we do mindfulness. We have wonderful talks, Dharma talks, wisdom talks, and we share in community with one another.
Mhm.
And Karina and I, well, us, because we've taught together in the community and we've held space together. So I'm excited about this conversation because Karina brings so much wisdom to these conversations and to the community that we support.
Definitely, I really enjoy Karina when you're teaching with the sangha. So
Hmm.
looking forward to what you have to share with us.
Mhm.
But before we get started, everyone, as always, I'd like to remind you about our themes for this season, which are balance and duality, or balance and harmony, gratitude and harvest, and letting go.
Hmm.
Yes.
All right.
So, Karina, we're going to start with you and just allow people a chance to get to know you a little bit. So, share with us, a little bit about your background and kind of how you've gotten to this point in terms of, mindfulness and teaching and things like that.
Hmm. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Travis and Camila. I'm so happy to be here. I feel honored and to be here in this space. Um, I'm so excited about this project. Well, my name is Corina Urdaneta. I was born and raised in Venezuela, South America. And so my mother language is Spanish. Um, so I grew up in Venezuela and then I moved to the States about 20 years ago with my family, my husband and my two children. And we are in the area of uh, DC, Washington, DC, in the area of Washington, DC. And so I'm gonna start by, you know, I don't know. There are many places where I can start. I can start from my culture back in my country, Venezuela, or how I got into IMCW and the BIPOC Sangha.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm gonna start just talking a little bit about my country. Venezuela is very much in the news these days here in the States
Mhm.
because what is going on in the Caribbean Sea. So we have Venezuela in the north of Venezuela. There is the Caribbean Sea, and we are in the top part of South America. So I don't know. Well, I don't want to go to details too much about that. But so we have Colombia. Is one of our neighbors. The other neighbors is the Amazon. So we have the forest, the Amazon forest, Brazil, and on the north is the Caribbean Sea. So
Mhm.
we are a pretty mixed society because when the Spaniards came to America and start colonizing us, we there were the native people, and then the Spaniards came, and then they brought also people from Africa, as happened here in the States. So, but we are pretty much mixed. So no, we are, there are some areas in Venezuela. There are more people like more black people or more indigenous people or more mixed people. So, but in general, we are very mixed. And so when I did my DNA test, um, I was very surprised, especially because I found that the native part of me is very high. So I have a lot of native people in my blood. Um, and so that's kind of different in a way because society doesn't have that much of uh, opposition between fights about races. We are a little bit more easy on that. However, I think there is racism in Venezuela, even in my own family.
Mhm.
I am the darkest in my family. So I noticed that my sisters, they had everything easier than me.
Mhm.
So, and it was okay now because, it makes me the person that I am right now.
Mhm.
But I didn't know why that was like that. And so when I moved to the States is when I start realizing all these, things that is going on in the background. So I don't know if it's clear that too. Is that clear?
Oh yes,
Okay.
Mhm.
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And what else about my country? So we speak Spanish, and our, mostly Catholics, but
Mhm.
it's mostly like a cultural thing than people really practice. People practice, but no, they are not very religious people. We are not very religious. It's more like it's part of the culture. So
Mhm.
the baptism, and then you first communion, then when you marry, you go to the to the church, and so
Mhm.
you get your marriage by the church. And so that's the way that we practice religion. And but also we have the presence of our African heritage, and we have also the native heritage.
Mm.
So it's a culture that is not just mixing, in our biology, but also in our culture.
Mhm.
You feel the presence of black, indigenous, and white people, and so it's kind of interesting experience to live there. Um, so I think that's pretty much about what I maybe is relevant
Hmm. Okay.
So,
for me. I just started meditating when I was in my early 20s because I was into, I think, big depression. And I went through a grieving process because my best friend died. And it was very tragic the way she died. And so I was looking ways to understand my grief. And somehow one day I end up listening a Dharma talk about the Four Noble Truths.
mm.
So, and it was like I went to this place that is called a dojo. You practice martial arts. These kids, they learn martial arts, and at night it seems to be they rent the space to a group of Zen practitioners, and they were giving a class about you know how to practice Zen meditation. And the first class, it was about the Four Noble Truths. And I
Mm.
say, wow, these are my people
Mm.
in a way, because I was suffering so much
Mm.
and nobody cares around me. And I didn't, everybody was having a good time except me, is what I thought at the time.
Mhm.
And then when I hear, well, there is suffering in life, I say, oh my God, yes, there is suffering. I'm suffering so much. And so I start practicing, but it was kind of on and off. And I took classes here and there. I practiced by myself. I didn't have a sangha. I didn't have a community. I didn't have a master, a teacher. So I was reading a book that I borrowed from a friend, and it was the three pillars of Zen. And I don't know, somehow I like it. I continue practicing by myself because I am kind of mm, I very disciplined person. So I used to practice like regularly, and I saw the changes in me, and I said, wow, this works. But then life, came. I had my children, I got married, and I got busy, and on and off. It was difficult to keep something like that by myself. So after many, many things that happened, I finally end up living in the DC area. And somehow I start not, hearing about the Dharma talks around the area. The Dharma teacher, Tara Brack, she had a huge congregation of people every Wednesdays and is nearby my house. So I start attending her. And I like the way she approaches the meditation because it's very scientific based in a way. And and also because she is a lay person and is a woman. So I saw, wow, woman can do this. She's lay. She doesn't need to be, a monk, a nun. Sorry, yeah. And she also brings a lot of science. And I thought that, wow, it blew my mind
Mhm.
because I've been not fighting, but my husband is very scientific oriented, and and it was very difficult to come. To he always there is this comments about my practice, like, do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Sometimes, well, this is not very serious. This is, and I don't know. I felt that way. Or maybe I need to be validated. I don't know. But what happened is that when I start being aware of the data
Mhm.
and all the benefits that brings to your mind and how the mind works and the brain and everything, I said, aha. So this is my way to enter. And so I start like practicing. I took my certification mindfulness meditation with Tara Brack and Jack Cornfield, and it was, it was something that I was waiting for a long time to happen. And so I really felt like the fire inside me, the need to learn more and to share these teachings. But at the same time, I've been teaching yoga for 25 years.
Mm.
So it was like probably the combination of yoga that I already have in my body and the need for something a little bit deeper in my spiritual way. I don't know. It's not just the body, but also the spiritual, I don't know, experience. And so everything, click. And it was like a passion, completely. It blew my mind. But then a friend of mine that she's Peruvian and she belongs to the BIPOC Sangha invited me to attend the BIPOC Sangha. So that was even better because it's when something is good but gets better, I
Mhm.
say, oh my God, this is my people.
Yes. Yes.
This is my people. I say, wow, because also, to have a space, because, I don't know if I can be frank, but this is a very white space.
Mhm.
Yes.
I'm very male dominated and white space. So it's kind of hard for a woman, Latinos, Spanish speaker, and to say something, and so I feeling at home when I am with the BIPOC Sangha. I feel at home. I feel welcome, safe. I feel that I can be myself, and so that's pretty much it.
Mm.
Mhm.
Oh, that's a wonderful
Yes.
story, right?
Hmm.
And first, we appreciate you sharing that. And I just want to say that listening to you, it just reminds me of how powerful we are. Like when we are ready for something,
Hmm.
everything comes together for
Yeah.
us, And to hear you say that you were going through depression from your, what happened to your friend, and you wanted some relief from that, you wanted some healing. And because you were at that point where you were ready for it, you wanted it, it came like you attracted it. That's what it sounds
Hmm.
like to me, right?
Yeah, definitely. That law of attraction is there.
Mhm. So thank you so much for sharing that. And before we go on, I just want to ask you if you could just briefly just kind of share in terms of the word dharma and the word sangha for everyone out there that is watching and listening, just what those two words mean. And it doesn't have to be a long thing, just briefly what dharma is and what sangha is.
Mhm.
Well, yes. Well, Sangha is the community of practitioners, and so we are in a community. The BIPOC,
Mhm.
Black, Indigenous people of color, are the group of people that are not white, and that we are sharing and building community. This is a spiritual community.
Mhm.
And Dharma, for me, is the teachings of the Buddha or
Mhm.
the teachings of life. But for me, is mostly the teachings of the Buddha.
Okay.
And is well, I can we can talk a lot about that, but yes, that's
Mhm.
is that okay?
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful for you to be able to share parts of your practice in this way, sharing with us what the meaning of Dharma is, as well as Sangha, because I think that a lot of people, as you were talking about your home country, how the majority of the people there are Catholic, so they look at many people, and I'm not going to speak specifically about your country because I don't know, but many people, they look at spirituality through the lens of whatever religion they were born into. So for you to share about um, Buddhism and the Dharma and the attraction to it, how you said that the Four Noble Truths really supported you during the time when you needed that understanding and support. I think it's beautiful to be able to expand in that way in your life. So thank you
Mhm.
for sharing that with the community. Yeah.
Mm. Mm. Yeah,
Ah, yes,
thank
thank you.
you. Mm. Mm.
And I have another question. Often, Travis and I are talking about healing and well being. So we like to ask our guests um, what their definition of healing is, because one of the things that I'm learning is that healing could mean something different to each person.
Hmm.
So if you had to define healing, what would be your definition of that, of healing?
Ooh, that's a good question, Camila. Hmm. Wow. I don't know. Probably is to come to peace,
Mm.
Hmm.
peace with yourself, and that's pretty much for me healing. And what is the other one?
Oh no, that was it. Just really just wanting to kind of get from each of our guests what how they define healing, because we know it could be different from person to person. And
Hmm.
oftentimes in this work and other work, people may always be talking about like, oh, here's some tools for healing, or here's what you can do for healing. But the thing is that we may not know what healing means for each individual person.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing what healing means for you.
Thank you. It's a good question because could be, people heal, like physically
Right.
heal, but mentally they are not, or the heart is not healed.
Hmm.
And so they are not at peace.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Camilla has this wonderful thing when she teaches. She talks about heart work,
Yeah.
you
Huh.
know, and that to me, and
Mhm.
Camilla, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, that is the work to support healing. You know, So, and and actually, and I'll bring this to you as well, Karina. Camilla, she talks about hard work, but she also spoke about it at the beginning of this conversation about how um, sometimes you have to get to a point, and I'm
Mhm.
paraphrasing, a point where you are ready for healing or for that next step, and then the universe aligns everything so that you can make that step. You know, so I find that what you've shared with us about your journey, um, that you've had these important steps in being able to step into them. One, when you were mourning the loss of your friend, and then when you got here to America, when you were ready, you found the Tara Brock
Oh
in that
yes.
community, you know, um, and it's all kind of comes together. So I just wanted to kind of add that in. I don't know if
Mhm.
there's a question there or not, but if anything is coming up for you, I would love to hear it. Yeah.
And now with the BIPOC Sangha, with
Mhm.
the
Hmm.
BIPOC group community. Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that place where you can be authentic,
Mhm.
be yourself and be received as yourself. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah.
Thank
Nice.
you. Thank you, guys.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So now we want to get into just handing everything over to you so you can share what you'd like to discuss today. So you can let us know what you'd like to share with us. Like, I guess, what's the topic or
Hmm.
the subject you want to share with everyone today?
Yeah, well, you mentioned like a list of topics.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So I thought that probably to talk about gratitude and harvest.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Hmm.
Nice.
Hmm.
And we just had last week, we had the Thanksgiving celebration. So I thought that probably that would be time, a good time to talk about it.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hello everyone. So thank you. And so I'm gonna talk a little bit about gratitude and harvest. And I like the idea that the combination of both both words, because normally I see gratitude in one place and harvest in another, but together it was very nice. It made me reflect a lot about that. And so gratitude, lately gratitude is being a term that is being around, um, in especially in the wellness community, no?
Hmm.
And mindfulness meditation, even in psychology, gratitude is becoming like a tool that people uses to heal, to probably to feel better in life, kind of. There are like journals of gratitude that you can do every day, writing 3 things or 5 things in during the day that you are grateful for. And there are many studies also, I talking about the studies about the importance of gratitude and how gratitude can change, your well-being, and how can change, uh, the way you feel, the psychology. And I have noticed that in myself.
Hmm.
And after being complaining, in my early years, complaining and complain all the time, and hater, my kids used to call me that. that I am a hater. And then to transform that in gratitude.
Yes.
Yes.
So it was a challenge because mm, well, the mind, when the mind gets in the habit of doing something, keeps doing that. So
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
it's
Yes.
what the Buddha said. The Buddha said, whatever you keep thinking and reflecting upon, that becomes the tendency of the mind or something like
Mhm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So if
Yes.
you worry too much or you complain too much, you're gonna keep continue doing that.
Mhm.
So it was like a wow, how can I do how can I undo this?
Mhm.
And so there are many things that we can do. And so the first reflection that comes to my mind is to be grateful to be alive.
Mhm.
And sometimes we take life for granted, and sometimes even like like a burden, like a load, like it's heavy load, to be alive, because it's, oh my god, so many things that we have to do. Yes, true. And so I remember one of the first times that I met Aisha. Aisha is um, probably the person who, you know start with Travis, no, doing
Mhm.
this by Sangha. So she mentioned about a sutta. Is called, I think the name is Shingala Sutta. And when the Buddha, I'm going to be talking about the Buddha. The Buddha asked his monks, he said, well, what is the probability? Well, it wasn't the probability, but what is the possibility or something like that, that a turtle that is blind, floating in the middle of the ocean, that is born every 100 years, enters her head inside a yoke, a piece of wood that has a hole in the middle, that the head of the turtle enters inside the yoke.
Mhm.
So I was looking what is yoke first of all, because I didn't know the name in English. So yoke is this instrument that all societies that used to plant, to open the soil and then
Mhm.
plant seeds. No, it was the joke. Okay.
Mhm.
So the monks say, wow, this is very unlikely. That's almost impossible. No, no way that that's happening. Well, and then the Buddha said, well, that's true. So that's human life. Human life is so difficult. I mean, it's so precious. It's so unique. It's
Mhm.
so rare. So use your human life wisely. Don't waste your life in unwholesome states. Well, I am talking in Buddha terms now.
Mhm.
But what it says is life is very unique, is very special. Don't waste it, and do the best of you can of your life. So, like, be grateful. You will say be grateful because you have something that is very precious. And sometimes we forget. I forget that that life is precious, and sometimes, oh my God, and so Aisha mentioned that sutta to me, and then a few days ago I started looking for the sutta because I was teaching another class, and that sutta came to my mind. So the first thing is to be grateful to be alive,
Mhm.
because it's very rare, it's unique. Even though we are in our planet, we are as many as we are. I don't remember the number because it's huge, and we are causing problems to the planet. It still is rare, and so it's be to be grateful to be alive. And so to and any time that we are grateful is like to really be grateful, because
Mhm.
sometimes we do out of habit, okay, I'm grateful and let's go. No, it's just, well, really feel the gratitude inside your heart of this precious human life and this body that we have that allows us to be alive and then allows us to awake. So, so that one thing, to be grateful, and so to remember, for me to remember that this life, also the body is amazing. Oh my
Mhm.
God, everything, the body, I don't think we have one mind. I think the entire body is a mind, because the body has its mind on its own. It's amazing.
Mhm.
So that's the other thing. All the marvels we do, the body does. The regulation, the heart is beating. We are thinking and talking, and we are moving. No, this is crazy. And if there is a virus, then there we have defenses inside the body, and this kind of. I say, oh my God, it blows my mind. So So what happens is sometimes we take things for granted, and it's normal. I think the brain is the way the brain works. You know, it needs to take things for granted. Otherwise, everything is important. It doesn't know what to do because everything is important. So it needs to put things in the background. So, but we have the how can I say, the option. We have the agency to bring
Mhm.
them back and put it in, importance to what it is. And so that's one thing, that we take things for granted, and try to bring the heart into your life, into your body, in the wonders that we are. I mean, that's one thing. The other thing is that, even little things, little details. People smile at you, open the door, people look at your eyes, you know, people are nice. People are not bad all the time. People are nice. And, notice those beautiful things. Oh, there is a cat here in my house, and so the cat likes to play. So these little details, the marvels of, we have water coming through pipes, that we have warm water, that we have electricity, that we have food in the grocery store. And well, not everybody has so we have to also be aware of that.
Mhm.
So the thing is to be grateful, you know for life, for our bodies, for things that we take for granted. And I remember one teacher, he said, well, it's like a flashlight. So use the flashlight, and you, with the awareness, you are you are seeing things that probably they were in the dark. So now you
Mhm.
can see them. You can see the smile. You can see the flowers. You can see many things. And so that's another thing. So instead, seeing the glass half empty,
Mhm.
half full.
Mhm.
Half full. Yeah. And so there are many wonders. And there is a quote that I wanted to read about, I think, Einstein. So, but I don't know. I'm not sure if it was Einstein. No, there are people that see things that everything, no, nothing is a miracle, while there are other people that sees everything is a miracle.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I like to be the second one, like everything is a miracle. And so that's gratitude. And when there is gratitude, there is like the felt sense. The body feels also gratitude, feel the gratitude
Mhm.
inside the body. It's not just the mind or the heart, it's the entire body feels. So when you notice something that you feel grateful for, allow the body to feel also,
Mhm.
like allow immerse yourself in the feeling, in this felt sense of gratitude, so it is get impregnated inside your body, your cells, your muscles, your tissues. It's not just something of your brain. And so there are some techniques. There are these techniques. There is a researcher called Rick Hanson that he talks about a technique called heal. Is half the experience, enrich the experience with details of sound, how it looks, the shapes, and then absorb. So allow yourself the body absorb. And the L is link, but is the L, it, it doesn't apply now. It applies when you have trauma, and he uses that for trauma. But at least to have the experience, enrich and absorb, and allow yourself to be in the experience for several seconds every day, it changes your life. It changes your life. So connected to that is harvest. So again, the Buddha, it did a lot of emphasis in the importance of your actions. So he says that our actions have consequences. Everything we do and we say has consequences. It doesn't, it's not like, like people think, nowadays that if I do something good, everything good is going going back to me. It doesn't work like that. He say he doesn't know how the karma, because he called this karma, laws work. And he says, don't try to explain that because it's impossible to understand. But for now, know that everything you say and you do is going to have consequences. And so when you harvest, when you plant seeds of goodness,
Mhm.
probably you're going to grow goodness around you. You're watering those plants, then they bring goodness. I don't know how goodness looks like. Bring goodness. um, you take the weeds out, so
Mhm.
it allows to grow, get stronger. Probably you put some nutrients or compost, so no, it gets the soil gets richer, and then you are growing these goodness seeds, hoping this gonna be a goodness tree. And like be aware of what you are doing, what you are planting
Mhm.
in your actions and in your words also. And words is more difficult because words, I don't know, sometimes the brain goes so fast that we don't have this, we don't realize when we have to stop and say, oh my God, I say that again. And so, so it's like, well, bring awareness. Bring awareness to the way you speak and the way you act. And bring awareness also to the intention behind the words and the intention about behind the actions.
Yes.
And also be aware of the consequences, because so everything is connected. And so so we are celebrating harvest. Well, we want to celebrate a good harvest. We want to collect those trees of goodness, the flowers of goodness, of beauty, of joy. of compassion, kindness. We want to grow those. So so that's the harvest that the Buddha also suggests us to would be a good idea to care for.
Mm.
Mm, and the last thing is about the speech. The the way we speak is the same as action, no? The way we speak, the words we say, and sometimes we didn't have time to say the right thing, but we still have time to write forgiveness later or make amends and truly have a sense of, mm, regret, no guilt, and is regret. So, yeah, we are in this process together and celebrating this gratitude and harvest season because I think we are following the tradition of the the ancient times, or the rhythms of the nature. So now it's the time to pause, that we are collecting everything. Now we are reflecting back. If we want to plant the same seeds, so we want to change the seeds, we want to and and give gratitude to whatever, the universe, to Jesus, Mother Mary, the Buddha, or yourself, on everybody. I mean, everything. And thank you so much for listening.
Mm.
I think that's my talk for today.
Mhm.
Mm,
Mm. Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah. Given a lot for us to marinate on.
oh my
Yes.
God! But you are experienced practitioners. I don't know the new ones. I think they understand.
Yes, I think that there's something in there for all of our audience out
Hmm.
there that's listening. And before we wrap up, I just like to share, for me, one of the things that really stood out for me was when you talked about gratitude and allowing yourself to feel it in your body. I kind
Hmm.
of like paused myself because I was like, I have done gratitude practices at different points, and I like to write things down. And when you said that, I said to myself, like, but have I ever allowed myself to really
Hmm.
notice if I feel the gratitude like energetically in my body? And so I
Hmm.
love that you brought that up, and for people to hear that it's
Hmm.
not just about saying something automatic, because like you said, it can be something where we just automatically, oh yeah, I'm thankful for this, I'm thankful for that, and we don't really take the time to pause and feel in our body, like, do I feel that energy of gratitude in my body? So
Hmm.
yes, I appreciate that you shared that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. And I want to piggyback on that, um, Karina. I think that I know that when we're supporting people in healing, and myself, that's one of the things that I invite people to do is to be present as they can, as much as they can, with whatever they're feeling. And oftentimes that's about suffering. So if you're feeling sadness or if you're feeling anger, feel it. There's nothing wrong with it. But be responsive instead of reactive based on what you're feeling. But the idea of feeling gratitude, you know, because to what you were saying, Camilla, I can't tell you what gratitude feels like because I've never really just sat with being grateful for something, and truly notice what it feels like, in the body. So I think that's a beautiful exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to, for our audience to invite them to, begin thinking about things that they're grateful for, and then sit in that. What does gratitude feel like? You know, Yeah. So thank you so much for that. That's an awesome idea, and an awesome practice.
Mhm. Yes, yes. And also I was thinking, and this will be my last question, but when it comes to gratitude, what would you say to someone who wants to know if it's okay to be grateful for something that might be viewed as negative? So, for example, do you think that it's possible for someone to be grateful for their disappointment or their failure or their guilt or their shame or all of these things that we might think are negative? Do you think it's possible for someone to also sit in gratitude for those things as well? What are your thoughts on that?
Huh. Thank you, Camila, for the question. And well, sometimes we maybe the gratitude comes from, well, I don't know. I have two thoughts. One thought is, I remember I was looking for that poem from Rumi. I think it's Rumi
Hmm.
that
Yes.
wants more problems because that's the way he's gonna learn and advance in his spiritual journey. But I couldn't find if you have the poem, I would love to have it. That is asking for more problems because it's the way that we grow
Mm-hmm.
in our minds and our hearts. And I truly believe that. Um, I don't know. I think that's pretty much what can I say. But sometimes there are truly bad things,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how I would respond to those truly bad things.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you think about that?
Well,
Uh-huh.
I think what you said, Karina, speaks to the heart of it.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking about Thich Nhat Hanh when he talks about mud, for the lotus. Without the mud, the lotus wouldn't grow and be beautiful. So oftentimes, and let's think about this, Karina. You may agree or disagree with me on what I'm about to say, but you shared, in your introduction about how you came to the practice, and you came to the practice suffering. You were, mourning the loss of a good friend, and that was tragic. And because of that loss, you ended up taking a class, learning about the Four Noble Truths, and the rest is history. And here we are sitting talking to one another. Now, do I want to connect all of that together? I'm not going to do all of that. But what I will say is that that was the catalyst for where you are now. So, mm, to what you were saying, Camilla, and um, I think that oftentimes in the moment, something tragic, something horrible, something hard, um, the understanding of what it truly means may not be seen. I just thought about something. Dave Chappelle used um, he talked about, the young man who was killed. He went from Chicago down, Emmett Till.
Hmm.
He talked about Emmett Till being killed in the 50s, I believe. Um, and he was killed in Mississippi. His mother left his casket open, so that the world could see what they did when they lynched him. And because of it, it ignited, or it put the flame
Under the civil
in the
rights
civil
movement.
rights movement. So we're talking a tragedy. George Floyd is the same thing. The whole world witnessing this man being killed live. Well, it wasn't live. Was it live? But witnessing the videos. I don't know if they showed it live, but people watched this man put his knee on the guy's neck for almost 9 minutes. So when you see those things, and you understand that that tragedy, um, can be a catalyst for change, um, and openness. And the flip, it could be flipped as well. If you're not open to learning the lessons, where something tragic,
Mm.
you never recover from.
Sí.
You know. So
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Travis. Yes, you did beautifully. Yeah, connect the dots.
Yeah. And I agree with you also, Karina. I think that what you said in response to that question is where I land on it too. And you said that, when it's things that may be seen or perceived as negative, when
Hmm.
those things are things that you take lessons and you grow from, then I believe you can find gratitude in them.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's according to how you put it in terms of like finding those things in there, not just saying outright like, oh, all of these negative things, I'm grateful for these negative things. It's really about, like you said, the combination of being able
Hmm.
to see into them more deeply, that, oh wow, I went through that shame, and I'm grateful for that experience, because now I am in a place where I have more self-worth. So it's
Hmm.
like being grateful for that. Being grateful for the fact that it shifted you
Hmm.
into a place where now you have more
Yes.
self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so how you responded, I'm on the same page with you basically.
Yes. Yeah, me too.
Hmm.
Oh wow. So yes, thank you. Well, that's all I have in terms of my questions. I don't know if you have anything else, Travis, before we allow Karina to share her offerings and things.
Well, I do want to say, Karina, I am very appreciative of you. I love the way that you teach and the
Yeah.
way that you share, with the humor that you
Mhm.
bring to the lessons.
Hmm.
And so, deep bows to you.
Yes.
And I am so happy that you
Mm.
decided to come on Community Conversations.
Mm. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's an honor for me to be with you, and I really appreciate that you are welcoming my true self,
Hmm.
my true self, and yeah, I really appreciate it. No, and the support of both of you. Thank you for giving me the space.
Okay.
Mm.
And so, oh, I almost forgot. Okay, so first we're going to ask you to share anything that can be put out to people if they want to stay connected to you.
Mhm.
So if you have like a virtual sessions or classes that you want to connect people to, website, anything like that, you can share at this time.
Mhm. Well, I have, the website. I think uh, is Corina Urdaneta. So it's my first and second name. Sorry, my first and last name together. Corina Urdaneta. Um, .com, I think, is the website, and you can find me through the Center for Mindful Living. I
Okay.
teach Tuesdays at lunchtime every Tuesday. I also teach in Spanish through the MCW, the Café con Leche BIPOC Sangha, sorry, Café con Leche Sangha, and also the BIPOC Sangha through the MCW. And that's pretty much. And I teach in Rockville Senior Center. I teach yoga for seniors. That's and Fairfax Public Library also I teach online yoga, chair and mat yoga. So you can contact me through my webpage and also my email that is corayoga1@gmail.com.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
All
And
right.
we'll put it in the listing as well, so that people can get it there.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, Karina. So we're going to end with three last things that we are asking all our guests. So I'm going to say the first part of a sentence and then you finish it. And it doesn't have to be long. So the first one is healing for, or healing in African American and other communities of color looks like, and you finish it.
Beautiful.
Like it. I love it. All right. And the second one is community to me looks like.
Love.
Mm.
Mm.
And finally, joy to me looks like.
Happiness.
Mm.
I don't know.
No, it's perfect.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Well, joy is joy. It's amazing.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Corina, for this conversation. And my hope is that everyone listening and watching will be able to walk away with something that can be helpful for them and support them in their healing and their well being.
Yes, yes.
As always, we close out by inviting everyone to continue to join us in community each and every day on Morning Meta. Like and subscribe if you're on our YouTube. And we're going to begin each day grounded,
Mm.
intentional, and connected.
Yes.
All right, Travis, what do you say to that?
Ashe.
Ashe.